Hello, people. My name is Detroit Miracle and Corey Gerard, and I like to welcome you all to Monster Wars. Yeah, and I have an exciting, epic story to tell you all, which is starring the Golden Fairy Lanae Pervy. This is part 4 of a very astounding and epic story, which is called The Golden Fairy Lanae Pervy and Her Fairy Corpse Adventure, Part 4. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Next, Amanda is shown standing over Freddy Krueger as red light cords hold him to the ground as he is knelt on his knees. Now Amanda replies, "Be gone with you," and then surrounding arms come out of the ground and pull Krueger through the floor. Then the vampire queen says, "Yuck," because Freddy's green blood tastes nasty. She now wipes her mouth and shows a smile. Amanda then turns around and sees Krueger sitting on her throne while wearing an all-black leather outfit. Freddy then says, "Hey babe, you missed me?" Then an angry Amanda replies, "You dare defile my throne, you child's play terror." Freddy then stands and then conjures a chain in his hand that has square razor blades focused throughout it. Krueger now conjures arms that also stick out of the ground, and they grab Amanda's leg. These 6 hands then pull Amanda halfway through the floor. Freddy then laughs and says, "Yeah, babe, 2 can play that game." Then the dream demon quickly swings his razor chain and wraps it around Amanda's neck, but her dragon armor has a neck ring which protects her so the razors don't rip into Amanda. Krueger is now shown pulling at the vampire queen with his razor chain as burnt hands tug at Amanda beneath the ground. Then Amanda shows a fang smile and then turns her body into hot smoke. Then the Amanda mist enters Freddy Krueger through his mouth, nose, and eyes. Next, Freddy is seen being burnt alive from the inside. And then that hot smoke cooks his innards, and then he explodes. Amanda then reappears and laughs, but Freddy Krueger next is heard saying, "That was a neat trick, vampire, but I'm unkillable." Now, the Golden Fairy Lanae aims her right hand and fires energy through the windshield. The 18-year-old is surprised because of that power display. Lanae then jumps to the driver door and then opens it. Now this fairy pulls a guy out who's seen wearing dark clothes and a ski mask. She then throws him on a nearby fence. The creep hit that fence so hard it fell into a backyard of a yellow house. Now the creep driver is shown running away in that same yard. So Lanae flies in and grabs that driver creep. She then puts her flaming hair on his chest, which sets him on fire. Next, 2 more creeps run at her from out of nowhere. So the Golden Fairy quickly jumps one to the ground and uses her flame hair to set this creep on fire too. Next, the other creep grabs her from behind, so she moves her head back and his fire burns his whole body up. Now the scared teenager is seen entering that battle yard as 4 twin creeps run past her and head for the golden fairy. Lanae then unflames her hair and quickly leaps on a side fence. She next charges that fence with gold lightning. Then 4 dumb creeps run into the electric fence and burst into flames after Lanae hurried out of the way. Then 8 ski mask creeps charge in, so Lanae shoots energy from her eyes and it blows them up. Now Lanae looks at the teenager and yells, "Wake up!" So the young girl is shown disappearing. Then Darth Vader is shown laying on a mechanical bed which has large robotic arms with hands connected to them. Vader's body is now seen without his prosthetic limbs, helmet, mask, and clothing. Now suddenly, those same bed mechanics begin attaching new prosthetic limbs to Darth Vader. And finally, the new helmet mask is shown lowering, and then Vader grabs it and puts it on his head himself. Now this Sith Lord is seen standing while wearing his new dark side armor. Vader's breathing isn't as loud as before, and it's showing red energy lines all over it. The Emperor used Sith magic to power this armor suit, and Vader's connection to the dark side amplifies that power, which keeps this Sith wear energized. Now Darth Vader walks out of the med lab. Oh, his new mask and chest plate differ from the old ones seen on his other suit of armor. Now Darth Vader prepares to test this new suit by facing off against 3 killer droids. One is a droideka or destroyer, the other is a square floater droid, and the last is a 2-armed and 2-legged droid. Then Vader ignites his lightsaber but lays it on the ground while it's still activated. Then the 4-limb droid activates a fire torch on his left hand and then pulls out a laser axe with his other one. Then suddenly these killer droids move towards Vader. So he uses the Force to send his lightsaber spinning like a boomerang. It then cuts off the head of the 4-limb droid. Now the droideka and square droid fire laser blasters at Darth Vader, so he freezes those lasers in mid-air. Catches his lightsaber, he then pulls the droids in the path of the exploding laser beams as he unfreezes them. Then a view of the black sky is shown and words in it say 15 minutes later. Now at least 100 creeps are seen in the backyard as Lanae viciously attacks them with deadly kicks, punches, tackles, and fairy energy strikes. She is moving much more quicker now and even manages to rip out some of their hearts. Then Lanae sees someone on the top porch who appears to be holding something. Now down the alley, 10 fairies are shown flying through a dream portal, and they fly to the war scene. Next, Lanae is seen breaking a creep's neck and quickly flies to the top porch. She then sees 10 of her fairy friends fly in, and the remaining creeps turn to fight them. Lanae then turns and shoots the villain up top with her fairy energy rays, which came from her eyes. So this creep maker drops his device, and then The creeps down below are shown vanishing. Oh, the mysterious foe also disappears as Lanae tries to question him. The golden fairy then picks up the dream gadget that made or multiplied those creeps and flies away with it. Now, Marilyn the voodoo priestess is seen inside of her home in Lake Charles, Louisiana. She is in her living room and it has voodoo decorations in here. Marilyn then walks to her bedroom. In here, the light is turned off, but candles are lit across her dresser and side cabinet. Now the voodoo priestess is shown laying on her back in bed, and then she closes her eyes. Marilyn is wearing a long black gown, and her straight black hair is shoulder length. Then a noise is heard in her bedroom, so Marilyn is seen opening her eyes and says, "Who dares to intrude upon me?" Next, Marilyn lifts up and sees glowing gold eyes at her room's dark entrance. Then the golden fairy is shown after walking near the candle light. So the priestess says, "Oh, it's you." Lanae, the golden fairy, then replies, "And it is also you," while she's seen wearing her heroine costume. Now Marilyn gets to her feet and conjures a golden fairy doll in one of her hands and a stabbing needle in her other hand, and says, "Do you come as friend or foe?" Then Lanae replies, "Well, if I was your enemy, I would have attacked you as you slept." So Marilyn makes that doll disappear and says, "But I am still asleep because my powers have increased." Lanae then replies, "Yes, and I want to thank you for your help against Darth Vader and Freddy Krueger. Me and my friend do appreciate that." Priestess Marilyn then replies, "Well, you and your friend look like you could use my help, and you are welcomed." Then Marilyn is shown smiling and takes hold of Lanae's right hand. The golden fairy then says, "I'm glad you made it out of that nightmare. We thought that you were killed." Marilyn then replies, "I'm a tough shell to crack." Next, the voodoo priestess says, "Oh, my name is Marilyn Marlborough, but some call me Aunt Mary." Then the golden fairy replies, "My name is Lanae Pervy, and I'm also called Golden Fairy." Then Tupac Shakur is shown sleeping in Marilyn's guest bedroom as he lays on his back. Next, Pac is seen in his dream while talking to his mother, Afeni Shakur. Her white clothing appears to be surrounded by a light aura. Tupac now hugs his mother and can sense that she's at peace with her current situation. Afeni then says, "I passed on, my son, and I'll be waiting for you." Now suddenly, Afeni fades away while smiling, and then Tupac looks a bit saddened. Then out of nowhere, 3 horned demons are shown attacking Tupac Shakur in his dream. Next, the scene goes to Priestess Marilyn's dream. She and the golden fairy are now seen talking. Then Marilyn says, "He's in trouble. I have to help him." Lanae can now see that Marilyn is troubled and replies, "What is wrong?" So Marilyn lays down and says they are after him in his nightmare. Then Lanae grabs Marilyn and says, "I'll help you, Aunt Mary, so just think about your friend and where we're going." Now Lanae is seen opening a wall portal and holds Marilyn's hand as they both walk through it. Then those three demons are seen grabbing Tupac, so Pac's tattoo ink makes a static shield and it shocks the demons off of him. Now Lanae and Marilyn rush in, and then the golden fairy pulls a light string from her belt and wraps it around a demon's neck, which turns it to dust. Marilyn next conjures two demon dolls in her hand and rips their legs off, and so goes the demon's legs as Lanae destroys them with fairy rays shot from her eyes. Tupac then goes to these heroine ladies and says, "Thank you, ladies, and I wish you were with me in Las Vegas." Marilyn then smiles and replies, "In Vegas, we would have been overkill. Oh, by the way, I'd like you to meet my friend, the Golden Fairy." So Tupac says hi and shakes Lanae's hand. Then she smiles and says, "Hello, Tupac, and by the way, my friends call me Lanae." The end. Thanks for tuning in, folks.